Oh, there it is. Those beautiful horns. Let's get it today, fellas. Let's get it. What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Let's go!
That was kind of mid, guys. That was kind of mid. But whatever. It's a Thursday. Miroslav's fresh from vacation, so we'll give
Was that an air horn? I don't even know what that
I don't even know what it was. I don't know. It sounded like a duck that was
like
growling.
a trumpet. That was a trumpet.
You miss Brandon so bad.
Already. Vogt not with us today. He's in Jersey.
That sucks, man.
I don't even give him undisclosed location. I just tell everybody where he is. I should give his address here. We're presented as
the armpit of America, as they call it.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up, and then gamble on Summer League to make it more fun. From this point forward, it's all you're going to want to do to make the games a little bit better. You can see we are joined by a much more tan, slightly more handsome version of Miroslav, the homie Miroslav, live from Serbia. Miroslav, dobro večer.
Dobro večer. I've been tanning for 10 days in sunny Greece, and I am now channeling my inner Steve Hess so I can be as beautiful as I can. So, yeah, you're welcome.
Does that mean later on you're going to take like your shirt off or something and scream and do these things? Are you going for that move?
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible indeed. From an undisclosed location, we've got Harrison Wynn.
I'm jealous because I just don't tan, as you guys know. I'm whiter than white. I've never tanned in my life, so teach me your tricks, Miroslav. Please teach me your ways.
I tan less than I used to, man. I used to be like, my kids now have this where I guess they're just outside more than we are. I think it's underrated how much kids are running around in the sun and how little you do. But my kids are like chicharrones right now. They're so dark. We have a lot to get into today, guys. It's not all going to be about Miroslav's vacation to Greece, although maybe we'll get a slight update there. I mean, it would be good. We're going to talk about Calvin Booth and what he's done this offseason, kind of step back now that it's all done, extensions and everything. I don't think there's going to be another move, although we'll wait and see. We'll talk about that and just whether or not he should get an extension now. Has he done enough to earn Josh Kroenke's trust? We'll also talk about DeAndre Ayton, who is reported to be ready to sign a $133 million extension with the Indiana Pacers. The Phoenix Suns will have a little bit over 48 hours to sort of match that, and maybe 8 hours to trade him if they want to do a sign and trade first. Donovan Mitchell, maybe to the New York Knicks. Kevin Durant, maybe to the Golden State Warriors. Honestly, I'm worried it's picking up steam. We'll talk about that. Adam Silver lowering the age limit. Maybe we'll even get to that. And then later on, as he always does, Miroslav is going to educate us ahead of our trip to Serbia and let us know the most important information for us to survive our trip, as he's already done.
It only gets more important. It only gets more important the more Serbian corners that we do. We're building up to something I think pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I'm going to get more vicious this time. So just a heads up.
More vicious.
Wow, this sounds really rough. Actually, we probably should just end this segment after last time. I've been telling by the way, Miroslav, I've been telling everybody in the Nuggets organization that you ranked Jokic 6th all time in Serbian players. So they are every time I tell them, they're like, I don't ever want to talk to that guy. So you've made enemies.
Was he 6th or 5th? I mean, don't slight the guy. I think he was 5th.
By the end of the summer, I'm going to be like, he had him 38th on the all-time. But first, guys, let's get into Calvin Booth. You know, we talked last night about the extension. Do you have any thoughts, Miroslav, about the extension of Kente? We'll talk about that piece specifically just to get out of the way. Did you have anything you wanted to add to the conversation?
About the KCP extension?
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course, as soon as the trade was announced, there was also announced that there is a plan for the Nuggets to extend KCP because they know he has only 1 year left on his deal, and that was the plan from the beginning. And of course, they followed that through, which is great. I wanted to say something about. I think we've been a bit unfair to the Nuggets front office when we talk about Jeremy Grant leaving. Like they had no idea he will just leave. And leave them with nothing. I think the thing is, on the vice versa, the Nuggets front office wasn't that sure that they want to keep Jeremy Grant before those playoffs. Because if you remember, he had a pretty clunky regular season. on the Nuggets. And the first time he really exploded was in that Lakers series where he really showed his value for the future. And that was way too late because he already made his mind. He wasn't a featured guy in the Nuggets rotation before that, for obvious reasons, because he wasn't good enough or he wasn't put in a good enough position to be that way. So I want to say, I think the Nuggets handled that one, almost equally well as they did with the extensions of Aaron Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, because they knew what they were doing with Aaron Gordon, of course, because they had him for half a season before the extension, and with KCP, they're obviously just on their way to make him a long-term deal on the Nuggets.
The one thing about it, though, I agree with you. Like, the Jeremy Grant revisionist history is funny. I always get, when I put out that tweet the other day that the Nuggets have their best starting lineup of the Jokic era, so many people were like, no, it's the one with Jeremy Grant. And I just want to be like, guys, that lineup actually wasn't good in the regular season. And it actually wasn't like their best lineup in the playoffs until the Lakers series, which is the one they lost. So
they never played it before the playoffs. That's what people forget.
Well, they had minutes. Well, you're right.
Very small sample size. Very small.
The 5-man lineup, yes. But we still had minutes with Jokic and Jeremy Grant, a lot of minutes with them, and they wouldn't be what you would expect. Like right now, anybody you throw out there who's a good player with Jokic is going to have like a +8 or better. And I think that one was like +0.6. Like it was surprisingly not good. So there's at least enough there to say maybe it wasn't the perfect fit. And I agree with you. Going into that offseason, I remember thinking of what the number was going to be, and we're like, it might get as high as 14 million. And it went up to like 20 million, and you're like, wow, that's quite a bit. But nonetheless, the Nuggets traded away an asset to acquire him and then lost him for nothing. So that asset that they used, was it a first-round pick? I can't even remember. I think
yes, first-round pick. Yeah.
A first-round pick ended up being a 1-year rental, and that's the fear that you have. Now, this time around, it was Monte and Will Barton. But nonetheless, even if it doesn't work out, even if it is like Jeremy Grant, when you have a guy under contract and they have value, some type of value, people will say, well, I can talk myself into that guy. I think Jeremy Grant would have been the same if they would have kept him for 20 million and the numbers were the same. I think somebody would have been like 6'9", 40% three-point shooter. We'll take a flyer on him. So that's all I mean to say is you're right that maybe it was okay to move on from him more than people thought, but nonetheless, it was still a strikeout in that way. This KCP thing no longer can be a strikeout like that.
Yep.
All right. Well, there you go.
So well said. Nothing to add.
Great points all around. Harrison, when Josh Kroenke spoke to the media, he was asked about Calvin Booth being on a final year of his deal. And he said, there'll be more news coming soon. Like we have an announcement to make. There's been no such announcement. He has not been extended. Now, I'll be honest. I kind of get it. You want to go into an offseason. If he's your guy, I don't think you want to hamstring yourself and commit to him not knowing how he was going to handle this. But now that the Nuggets roster has shaken out, before we've even seen a game, I do feel like we can analyze and say, does he or doesn't he deserve a contract extension? Do you agree that we have enough information to know that? And 2, yes or no?
Yes, I think we have enough information, and definitely if he's going into his last year, yeah, you should extend him. He should get an extension sometime before the season starts. I'm not surprised we haven't seen news of a deal come across because, yeah, you want to wait to see what happens during the summer, see what moves are made, see how he handles himself in that role, and then make a decision. But I think we can pretty easily say that he's done a good job this offseason. He's handled his business well. And I think, the Nuggets should definitely give him an extension. Now, if we're talking about bumping him up to a president of basketball ops, I think we should hold off on that maybe. But an extension for another couple of years, yeah, sure.
Well, the title is really more just it's nice to have something else to give, these things don't really mean anything. He's the top decision maker. It does feel like, one, you give him the extension and probably a bump in pay because now he's the top decision maker. So if he's your guy, you commit more long-term to him. And then you have that Pobo to dangle out there maybe in a year's time or something like that, where you're like, you know what? We feel like this guy is our guy even longer term, which, by the way, with the Kroenke's revolving shark teeth metaphor, I think could be taken a couple wrong ways. No, I'm serious, because I do think You laugh, but it actually is their MO about how they
I
do
know.
have people
Yeah.
waiting in the wings. But that doesn't mean they are looking to discard guys. It means that they are willing to if the price goes too high. I say that to say I don't think the Cronkies look at it as anybody can do this job. They just look at it as we always want to have somebody else there so we're not vulnerable to this type of thing. That being said, if they do, I would expect if Calvin Booth does a good job, the Nuggets would want to commit to him long term. I don't think they look at this as like he's our guy for the next 2 seasons. They probably look at it as we hope he's the guy for the next 7, 8, and beyond.
Of course. So yeah, I think you definitely extend him, definitely give him a bump in pay. He's earned it, I think, for what he's done this summer. And then maybe a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, or I bet in less than 2 years from now, the team might try to hire him as their president. And in that case, yeah, you have that ability to bump him up to president of basketball ops if that situation comes about.
Gordon, I see you. We'll get to you at the end, buddy. That's a monster one. We appreciate it. We'll get to it in segment 3. Miroslav, do you agree? Does he deserve an extension based on what he's accomplished in his first 6 weeks?
Yeah, what he has accomplished, he made 3 types of moves. He made some win now moves in KCP and Bruce Brown. Then he made some, I don't know, win later moves with all of the rookies. And then he made a DeAndre Jordan deal, which is, I have no idea what it was. But okay. I'll cut him some slack because all the other moves, all the win now moves really feel good, really, really good. I gave a lot of heat to Calvin Booth at the beginning of the offseason because it didn't start great. But then when we saw that Bruce Brown move, I really liked it. I would like if he would have made less win later moves, but I get it. I mean, we spoke about how the Golden State Warriors built their championship team with like 15 guys they can count on. Well, that's not completely true because they had Moses Moody, and James Wiseman, who was injured all the time, and so on. But those guys were like lottery picks, so you cannot just waste them away unless you trade them, of course. So I would have liked if they had one more win now move, but I get it. I get the idea that they want to start with this squad and then reevaluate by the trade deadline and see if they can use that trade exception. By the way, I want to call Jake about what is now the size of that trade exception, because I think all the deals are now finalized or almost finalized. So we should know.
I think it's still around 9 million though, right? Like the point part of that might change a little bit, but I believe it's 9 million plus or minus change.
Yeah. So that's a pretty handsome trade exception. You can land a pretty good top 7 guy with that. So I'm optimistic they will use it at some point. So that could be a great move.
I think the question is, does he deserve an extension? It's funny because you could be like, absolutely. And then you get on the court and this team isn't as good as you think. And I think that's one thing people that are maybe not as versed in the NBA might throw out there. Why not just wait until Christmas to see how this team is and then make the move? The one thing I will say is I think you have to look at the moves. Did he do what he set out to do? Is this the thing that we believe was the right thing to do? And then everything from here is sort of basketball, right? Like we'll see what happens. And I think he said he was willing to get bold and maybe move some pieces that have been here a long time. Will Barton, the longest tenured guy. Monte Morris, certainly in that conversation of one of the most longest tenured guys. That was a bold move of sorts in that it was willing to disrupt the continuity that they had built. And it brought in a player that we feel is better in KCP. He talked about wanting defensive players. Very clear that he has an identity that he is going for. Like the funny thing is I don't feel like we need any more time to understand Calvin Booth's MO. Like I actually feel like we understand exactly what it is he believes the best version of the Nuggets are. So I think we can actually look at these moves and say he did what he said he was going to do, and he pulled them off. He pulled off the trade. He pulled off the move for Bruce Brown. He drafted guys that fit at least the mold of what we're talking about. Whether those guys hit or not, that's the biggest mystery. But he pulled off at least targeting those types of players. There's no Tyler Lydons in here that you're like, what is the thought process. We know what the thought process is with the guys they brought in. So for me, I think those things do warrant it, do warrant the extension, and I would expect it to come. Honestly, I genuinely expect it to happen over the next couple of weeks, in part because that's what Josh Kroenke said would happen. And now that I don't think anything has happened that would make him go back on that word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would love for him to be bumped to the POBO, because that means that Tommy Bracelets would be a general manager. That would be great. I really like that guy.
Tommy Bracelets, man. I like him too. He was great. By the way, if you missed that show, Tommy.
No, I didn't miss it. Come on. I was in Greece. I wasn't on the moon.
I will say, we've had Tim Conley on the show before. We've had Calvin Booth on the show before. We've had other people from the front office. I feel like Tommy's hour he spent with us was maybe the most illuminating of any of these ones, meaning like Tommy really spoke openly, maybe more so even than I expected. But really, I just felt like he was good at conveying a vision that they have for the team in a way that I'm like, if you're a Nuggets fan and you want to hear from them, whether you agree or disagree, I just thought he did a good job of saying, here's how it went down. Here's our thought process. Here's what we think. And here's how we think it's going to play out. And it's always nice because it gives you something to sort of judge them by. Like, okay, we'll see what it is. Is there any other thoughts you have here about Calvin Booth and just kind of, is there any chance, Harrison, a year from now, we're going to look back at all these moves and be like, whoa, how are we so high on it?
I mean, there's always a chance because nothing in the NBA ever seems to work out like you think it will. But is that going to be Calvin Booth's fault? I mean, I don't think so based on the moves that were made. Like, could KCP suddenly forget how to shoot? Sure. It's not going to be Calvin Booth's fault for making that trade.
Right.
Like, is Bruce Brown going to get hurt? Maybe. Anybody could get hurt. But it's not going to be Calvin Booth's fault. Like, he's made all the right moves. And in 2 months on the job, like, we have such a good understanding of what Calvin Booth wants to do with this roster and rotation. I think more maybe of an understanding than we did with the previous front office in 6-7 years. So he's just coming with a very focused approach, and he's got specific goals in mind of what he wants to do. And he went out and executed them. And I think he's done a great job, honestly. Like, I think this was an A-level offseason. It's funny when people talk about, the free agency didn't get off to a great start with DeAndre Jordan. Well, look, it's not like Denver didn't survey the market and know which centers they could get for the minimum. And there was a very short list of those. I think maybe, DeAndre Jordan was the best of that group.
First of all, by the way, I remember asking about Andre Drummond specifically, who's like a little bit, I don't like him either, but he's better than DeAndre Jordan. And the comment was, but you couldn't get Bruce Brown then. Like, that cut into your taxpayer MLE and there just would not have worked. Like, literally would have had to choose one or the other.
Like, let's not pretend all these deals aren't done before free agency opens. It's not like Denver picked up the phone at 3:01 Mountain Time and was like, DeAndre Jordan, we want you. Like, that's not what happened.
We got to get him.
That's not what happened. Like, everybody knows where everybody's going in the lead up to free agency. Everybody knows what everybody's going to sign for.
Also, by the way, Harrison, you're dropping the most important part that you were reporting. There was other things going on at that moment in time, including a Nikola Jokic.
I didn't report that. I did. Well, Calvin Booth was in Serbia in the lead up to free agency, but I don't think that really affected anything.
I'm just saying, like, there were other things that were, going on at the time that were like, hey, these are the top priorities. And the DeAndre Jordan thing was just a thing that they kind of knew how this was going to shake out. So anyway, it worked out. I'm on board with it. I'm excited for it. Why don't we take a break? On the other side, there's breaking news in the NBA. DeAndre Jordan expected to sign an offer sheet from Indiana, and Phoenix expected to match. We'll talk through all of that on the other side.
It's DeAndre, and that'd be a big offer sheet for our friend DeAndre Jordan.
Did I say DeAndre Jordan? Damn it.
Yeah, I think you did. FOCO, Colorado sports fans, your home for Denver sports coverage, is partnering with a leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. The DNVR has teamed up with FOCO to secure your access to the best collectibles and gear around, whether it's Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, Buffs, Rapids, Foco will have something for you or a loved one. Looking to get a gift for a diehard sports fan, they have officially licensed gear for men, women, and kids, and everything from bobbleheads to swimsuits to Crocs. Foco has got you covered with the best Colorado merchandise. Head on over to foco.com or click the link below in the YouTube description for non-presale items. Use the promo code DNVR for 10% off. Also at DraftKings Sportsbook, the action never ends, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right. Make your first bet up to $1,000. If it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash it in. Tons of stuff to bet on right now. Baseball, golf, MMA, NBA Summer League. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. Make your first deposit. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Promo code DNVR. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
And we are back here with the homie Miroslav. Serbian Corner coming in the final segment. But before we get there, some more breaking news. DeAndre Ayton has signed or is ready to sign, apparently sometime later today, an offer sheet from the Indiana Pacers. This is the team that has been rumored all along to be interested in a $133 million extension. I believe it's the largest offer sheet in NBA history, according to Vogt.
Bigger than the Joe Harris offer sheet? That was an epic one.
The way it works is starting at midnight, the Suns would have, if he signs it today, the Suns would have starting at midnight 48 hours to match. All reporting from Woj is that they plan to match that. They also have another, 8 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever it is, to work out a sign-in trade for another team, if that's, or even with the Indiana, should they want to do that. So we'll see. I think the DeAndre Ayton saga is going to be coming to an end here. I'll go to you first. Actually, I'll go to you first, Harrison. Are you surprised by this news, and how do you think this ends up shaking out?
I mean, look, if the Suns don't sign this offer sheet and let him go for nothing,
They can't.
It would be like one of the biggest fumbling of the bags in NBA history. I mean, this guy was a #1 pick. Is absolutely integral to your run to the finals last season. And you're going to let whatever happened during the last 82 games and a couple playoff series come between that. They've got to match him, I think. But the problem is they got to match him. But at this point, they can't roll into next season with him. So they got to trade him still. It's just a screwed up situation that Phoenix made themselves. What is going on here? What happened between DeAndre Ayton and the Suns? There's got to be so much more to this story that we don't know.
The vibes can get so much worse than you think. You know what I mean? For a team, there's things that happen in Denver and people are like, this is a disaster. Using your #1 pick on DeAndre Ayton, the #1 overall pick, which Denver has never had, using that when you had a guy like Luka on the board is, first of all, frustrating, even though it worked out. They went to the finals. They had some things. But then having it work out and then having him get to his first contract extension and ruining that relationship so quickly in short order, it's another one where you're just unbelievable. So I'm with you. By all accounts, the most likely outcome is that he is going to sign the offer sheet and the Suns are going to match, and you're going to go into the season with DeAndre Ayton as your starting center, and he can be traded on December 15th then. That's when everything opens up. But he'll also have veto power for 1 year, meaning you can't just trade him to the Orlando Magic. If you trade him, he would have to sign off on the trade, which, again, hamstrings you to a certain extent. Even if he does want out, he's not going to let you just send him anywhere, most likely. And
you can't trade him to Indiana, I don't think.
So well, there you go. So it's one other suitor. So the most likely outcomes for this are that the Suns are at least going to have to start the season with their same roster. And I don't know, Miroslav, do you, just looking at how this is going, I guess there's still the option that they work out a different sign and trade, maybe with somebody else or with Indiana, but it's looking more like this is a Phoenix Suns team that likely has peaked, I would say.
I hate the Suns so much, man. I mean, what they're doing to one of the nicest guys in the league. That's just
DeAndre
terrible.
Ayton.
Yeah.
Let me say one
Yeah.
thing.
DeAndre Ayton just wants to chill and play video games. He doesn't even want to play basketball. That's
I was
how
going to
nice
say,
he is.
I think there are behind this. This is one of the things I learned at Summer League, and I shouldn't say learned. I heard. I don't. The validity of them, we'll find out. But I think there's a reason more teams aren't in on him. When you look at the skill set, it's like the skill set is really good. It's a really interesting one. Why aren't more teams willing to go all in? There might be a reason that maybe teams don't buy that he is a winning caliber cornerstone piece. So he obviously was a winner in Phoenix, but that maybe if you're going to pay that kind of money, you want him to be like a tent pole of your team and a leader. And I think people don't believe him to be that.
Yeah, you want to give your max money to a guy that can create for himself and not just be, forced feed under the basket, something like that. But I don't know. I really like the guy. I think he's like a top 5 NBA center already, and he's like 23 right now, which is really, really good. I think that's the worst scenario if they just sign him and start playing him and then wait for December 15 and make some kind of disgusting trade and get actually better because of that trade. I don't know if there are no more suitors for him than Indiana right now, how many more there will be on December 15. But definitely there will be more teams willing to trade for him instead of just signing him on a cap space because nobody has it but Indiana right now. So I don't know, man. I think it's not good for them right now, but I don't expect anything good to happen in the NBA. So I'm just so afraid that they will just get better somehow because of this, and I will just hate it even more.
I don't think it's possible. Like if he's back, first of all, let's just say he's back there and plays for one full season. Like he's not brought in to be bought out or to be traded at December 15th, but to go. I just don't see it, man. Like that is a team that did not end well last year. That definitely felt like things had broken right for them for 2 years in a row. Like getting that kind of luck again, I just don't see. And then on top of that, would anybody really blame Ayton for not being wholly bought in next year? If it was like, hey, you yanked it around and now you just kind of own my rights and I have no say in any of this and you guys have all badmouthed me and I'm kind of like the unheralded one now in the organization. I just would be shocked if they got the A version of Ayton next year. I can't picture it.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. Like, I feel like all along the worst case scenario was heading into next season with Ayton unhappy. But now it seems like it's the best case scenario because you've got to sign him.
Right.
You got to match this offer sheet. There's just got to be something else going on there that we don't know about. Like there's no way just what happened, on the surface in that final playoff series is it. There's got to be some like deep down dark issues within the Phoenix Suns. And like we know there's the whole Robert Sarver side of things, but there's got to be something else dark, like deep down in the Phoenix Suns organization that is just like divorcing this marriage.
It's interesting because Ayton definitely makes Phoenix the tougher matchup for Denver. Like he's the one piece. Even them trading for Durant, it would suck. But there is still a path to me that goes, you know what? I don't know. We'll see what the pieces are, how many pieces Phoenix would have to give up. But if they have Ayton, they just have somebody that has given Jokic a hard time in the past. And so you think like on top of everything else they have, that makes them tough. So part of me thinks it's not the best scenario, but it's not the worst scenario, but it's also not the best scenario. The best scenario is still them losing him to somebody else, being forced to do some kind of sign and trade with Indiana where they get back just a weaker package. And you think, okay, they're even worse off. But just a real quick, Miroslav, is Phoenix still an obstacle to Denver next year?
No.
How big of an obstacle? No,
they're not. I mean, they're going to be a playoff team, but I'm not afraid of the Phoenix. I mean, all about the next season hinges on the health of Denver Nuggets, and knock on wood. I don't see anybody.
You're this high right now, so be honest. You're this high on Denver next year.
Yeah, but the caveat is so big, man.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't expect them to be healthy. That's the problem.
Yeah, okay.
But if they are healthy, that's just impossible to stop, I think.
This is a time, though, when you've just got to be so thankful for Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets culture. This would never happen in Denver. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
The Nuggets are so drama-free, and every other team around them is just blowing up right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, he definitely is a nice thing. And also, I'll also say, again, Sarver, one of the worst owners. Like some of this has to do with like Sarver's own cheapness. And they have a very good team, and he just doesn't seem to care. Not that the Cronkies have been the best ever, but there's levels to this stuff. Like that's part of my big point is everybody just has to understand there's levels to crappy ownership, and Denver's is like not the worst level in my opinion. Bouncing around the NBA real quick. Donovan Mitchell picking up steam now, headed to New York. This has been the league's worst kept secret. Donovan Mitchell was wanted to go to New York for the longest. I look at Utah. Everybody, the Windhorst meme, his thing where he was doing that brilliant 2.5-minute little rant. What's lost in that meme is what he was actually saying, which was that Utah might be, and almost certainly is, starting a very long, slow rebuild. They're not just trying the Miami Heat rebuild, like we're going to be bad for a year, but we're going to turn around. This might be more of an Oklahoma City one that they're looking at, where it's like, hey, Utah might be a bottom 4 team in the West for 3 years, 3 seasons, and that might be by design. Mm-hmm. You look at this Donovan Mitchell news. I don't know if it's going to happen now or later, but it feels like it's going to happen probably now. And my biggest takeaway is I think Utah might be a doormat for most, if not all, of the remaining Jokic era. Which to me is a sneaky good thing. Like that's sneaky great if you can just eliminate one team from your division. That's my big takeaway. What about you, Miroslav?
Yeah, it's a really good organization. I mean, I understand Denver Nuggets fans hate Utah Jazz, but Utah Jazz was a franchise that was handled really well for a lot of decades right now. So having them being in like OKC 2.1, 2.0 mode, that's great news for the Nuggets. And it's just the Knicks are being Knicks. If they really want to take Donovan Mitchell next to Jalen Brunson and make that super small backcourt like a copy of backcourt they had in Utah before. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is a really, really awesome player that will lead you to the first round exit every year. So even in the East, I'm not sure they can pass the first round even in the East with him as their best player.
Yeah, they're going to have to build through the draft like OKC because there's not a free agent out there, not even DeAndre Ayton, who's going to sign in Utah. Like that's just not going to happen. So they're going to have to build through the draft like Oklahoma City. And yeah, this is setting up for a long, hard rebuild, I think, for Jazz fans, which sucks. The Northwest Division now, let's get into a little division talk. But the Northwest Division now, the Nuggets are in such a clear tier by themselves. Like it really hasn't been this way for a while, I feel like. And then you've probably got Minnesota a tier below. And then I'd even say Portland a tier below that. And then like 3-4 tiers below that, you're going to have the Thunder and Jazz. So, I mean, there's some real parity in this division now, I feel like.
Yeah, it might work out. We'll see if I think Denver is also a tier of their own in the Northwest Division. I will say this, though. This is the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. We got 2 teams that might be in the running for that, Oklahoma City and Utah. Makes me a little uncomfortable. And I would say there's a real sweet irony. I'm not rooting for it, but it would be kind of hilarious to lose Gobert and replace him with Victor. Like just to get the new /real Stifle Tower. It would be like a real irony to that.
The Stifler Tower.
Also, I almost feel like it would set up Victor W. poorly if he goes to Utah and everyone's like, "Oh, it's just Gobert again." You know, like
It's okay. By the time Victor Wembanyama's ready, the Nuggets will be on like the 3rd round of a 3-peat, so it's all good.
There you go. All right, I'll take that as well. One thing about this DeAndre Ayton news that I think is most interesting. Who are the suitors for the Kevin Durant sweepstakes? We know that it has been Phoenix, and now I still think that's possible, just more likely to happen in December 15th than any other time, although let's hold our breath and see what happens. But there's been some momentum lately from the big news breakers, including Brian Windhorst, that maybe KD is headed back to the Bay. I think apparently Steph Curry is putting on the full court press right now to be like, hey, man, how dope would it be if you just came back here and we kicked everyone's ass again for another 3 years? And I got to say, to me, it's the one darkest timeline by a mile of all of this, because I truly believe Denver is going to have a 2 or 3 year run of the best basketball in their franchise history. And I truly believe they're capable of beating just about anyone. But the Golden State Warriors back with Kevin Durant is one team that you look at. Could they beat them? Yes. I'm not giving up on any of it, but it would suck. That's a team that was never challenged. It's also the dumbest story the NBA has ever told. Like, I can't believe we had that era. It was so lame. Kevin Durant left. The Warriors won without him, and now he would go back. To me, it would be the weakest move in the history of the NBA. But I'm telling you guys, it's more likely, or it feels more likely than it felt a month ago. And I'm sitting here reading the tea leaves going, please don't let this happen. Miroslav, are you watching this and feeling the exact same way?
Always expect the worst thing possible. I mean, it's just the way NBA is. And I mean, if that happens, just shut down the league for three years. Just give them 3 trophies and then come back with Jokic at the age 30 and let him play in Mega for 3 years, be close to his courses, and then come back and dominate when all the guys are too old in the Golden State. It's just terrible. I mean, as you said, it's not impossible for the Nuggets to beat them because Steph should be losing a half a step sometime soon. I don't know, man. I mean, he's not a giant guy. The smaller guys tend to age worse than the bigger guys. But I don't know, man. I mean, he's so good. He's so good. And Draymond has lost his athleticism, but he's still so good. And I don't know how the fuck is KD still so good after the Achilles and everything. It's just, those guys are just aliens. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I would hate that so much. And hopefully we'll not be seeing it.
I would lose a lot of faith in the basketball gods if that happened. I like the basketball gods.
That would have nothing with basketball gods. I mean, that would be against basketball gods.
Right, but if KD went back there and then somehow they won a championship, I feel like the basketball gods should be able to prevent that championship from happening. If they have any power left in them, they should be able to step in. But yeah, that'd be rough.
Do you see it happening?
The only reason I could see it happening is because I feel like this happens a lot when these big name guys demand trades, and eventually the list where they could go, the destinations that they could go to, just kind of dwindles and dwindles and dwindles. And then a team like the Warriors is sitting there and they just go, why the fuck not?
Well, they have the ability to do it just because they have the Andrew Wiggins contract. So you're already there with the contract matching. And then, you just have enough assets that you could be like, all right, you get all of our young players. We don't care. We don't need a bench.
Yeah. Like you talk about all the teams that could trade for Durant, and eventually the list gets, lower and lower. Like, oh, New Orleans would be awesome. Kevin Durant and Zion. The Pelicans, they're probably just not going to do that. It's just like that list dwindles and dwindles, and suddenly there are only X amount of teams that can make that play, and the Warriors are one of them. The Warriors are one of the teams that can do that.
Yeah. It would be the weakest. Like, I don't know what KD's doing. I really don't. Like, he seems like he's spiraling out of control in so many ways. And if he went back, honestly, like, he got swept, made the play in, and now he's online telling Maggie that, her dishes or whatever is making, like, he's just spiraling out of control where it's like, you're pushing back on the way people talk about you. But if you made this move, how could you possibly say it was to like push yourself to be the best, or like, this would be such a cop-out move. But to me, it would be black and white in that way. So for him to do it would be the craziest thing. But let's just hold our breath and hope it doesn't. Last one real quick, Harrison. Would you make a lopsided trade for KD to prevent him from going to Golden State? Like, if you're Denver and you see that trade happening, and remember, Brooklyn doesn't have a veto power, or KD doesn't have a veto power. They could trade wherever. Would you be like, are our odds better with Denver and the team that we built? Or would we trade half of that away just to put KD and Jokic together, knowing that the auxiliary benefit is the Warriors don't get to add him to their roster?
Yeah, it's worth a thought. But no, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a break. On the other side, let's get educated for our trip to Serbia from Miroslav, who has a very important lesson for us. Very important on the other side.
The American Raptors. The American Raptors are Rugby Town, USA's newest rugby team. They are made up of athletes who have competed at the highest levels of their respective sports. They come from backgrounds in football, basketball, baseball, wrestling, soccer, track and field. They've all been put together on this American Raptors rugby team, and they're revolutionizing the sport. American Raptors games are free. They're free. You can go to AmericanRaptors.com to grab a ticket for the upcoming season. They play at Infinity Park in Glendale. If you can't make a game, AmericanRaptors.com will be streaming all of them from their website. So make sure to check it out. Also check out the DNVR Rugby Podcast. Also, our next sponsor here, Athletic Greens. This is a product that I use literally every day because I wanted more energy in my daily life. I wanted an optimized immune system. I hated taking pills and vitamins as well. Athletic Greens, one delicious scoop of it, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens as well. It's friendly with every diet. If you're keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, Athletic Greens works with that. So right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. Just one scoop in a cup of water every day of Athletic Greens. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/nuggets, athleticgreens.com/nuggets to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
All right, back here, segment 3. This is where I hand the reins to the tan one, Miroslav. What do you got for us?
Welcome to the Serbian Corner.
Thank you.
Okay, we are getting more serious every week. We've been on a two-week hiatus, and now we are getting closer to the main event of this September, and that is the Serbian national team playing at the Eurobasket, and this is the course for novice FIBA basketball fans. Okay. First of all, some general things. FIBA Eurobasket 2022 tournament will be held from September 1st to September 18th in 4 cities for the first stage: Prague in Czech Republic, where Serbia will play, Tbilisi in Georgia, not that Georgia, Köln in Germany, Milan in Italy,
that Georgia.
And with the final 16th stage in Berlin, Germany. Fun fact, I've only been to 2 of these 5 cities, so that's bad on me. Hopefully it will be
Prague
better.
and Milan.
No, actually it's Milan and Köln. Köln is a beautiful French-German city. It's called Cologne if you're French, and it's Köln if you're German.
There you go. All right. They're playing in Prague. All right. There you go. That's a good.
Yes, first 5 games in Prague, and then in every group there are 4 groups with 6 teams, and top 4 teams in every group are going to the top 16 stage, which is 1 game eliminations, which is the most beautiful part of basketball. If you're stick with a 1 game elimination throughout the tournament, it's just the best guy wins every time. Serbian national team. Okay, first of all, head coach Svetislav Pešić, he is in his age 72. That's pretty close to George Hull. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but Coach Pešić won a game against George Hull in 2002 in Indianapolis. I don't recall if I ever mentioned that. Yeah, he is a veteran. He is a really experienced coach. And
is he a good coach though, Miroslav? Is he a good coach?
Well, okay, so this is the thing. He's been coaching national teams only 3 times so far. First time it was in 1993 with Germany. He won the Eurobasket gold. Then in 2001 with Yugoslavia, he won again Eurobasket gold. And then he won the FIBA World Cup in 2002. So
what kind of coach is he? Iron Fist?
No, I mean he is he's coaching the clubs all around Europe, and these are the only national team he was coaching, as far as I remember. He was also the coach of the Yugoslav under 22 team back in Bormio in 1987 that won the world gold by a landslide against some lesser teams like USA and so on. Okay, let's go now to the guards of this team. Coach Pešić gave us 22 guys he will be counting on for this Eurobasket. So out of these 22 guys, he will select 12 guys for the main tournament. We don't have 15 guys, unfortunately, which would be much better, especially for a team like Serbia, because we usually have some injury problems, and having some extra bodies would be great, but unfortunately, no. So, guards, first one, Vasa Micic. You've heard of this guy, right?
Yes.
So he's a 28 years old, 6'5", point guard, shooting guard, 2-time EuroLeague MVP. But you know what? It's not a big deal. I mean, if you're 2-time MVP, it's not a big deal in Serbia. Let's see him become a 3-time MVP. It's not like nobody's done it ever. So we'll see. We'll see. Next one, Milos Teodosic. You know this guy as well. He's now playing in Virtus in Bologna in Italy. He's 35. He's 6'5", and he is 35, but he's moving like he's 48. So hopefully he won't be playing too many minutes on this Eurobasket, but we'll see.
Has he been any good since he left the NBA? Is he still good?
No, he's actually also consecutive 2-time MVP of a lesser European championship called the Euro Cup. So he's been playing really well on a slightly lower level competition. Okay. And the third point guard on the team, Ognjen Jaramaz, who is playing in Bayern Munich in Germany. He's 26, 6'4", and I think this guy can also be on the final team, because you really need 3-point guards on your team. Although there is a fourth guy right here, who is Aleksa Avramovic, who plays for Partizan Belgrade in Serbia, who is 27 and 6'4". This guy can also play some point guard as well. So we'll see. He might be the third selection.
I forgot. Are you Partizan or Red Star?
Oh, come on, man. I'm Partizan.
Bro, come on.
Come on.
I'm just trying to find your bias in all of this. So, okay, I got it.
I'm not really biased here. I really am not, because Partizan has been sucking for many years now. So I don't expect a lot of Partizan guys on this squad, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're getting better. They're getting better. They should be really good this season with Coach Željko Obradović. Okay, next one. Vanja Marinković, another Partizan Belgrade guy. Funny that you asked. Okay, so he's now playing for Baskonia in España. This is what the ESP stands for. He's 25 and 6'6". You will see these guys are pretty long. We don't have.
Did Calvin Booth put together this team or what?
Yeah, the only problem is it's just a bunch of white guys, so that's a problem. But other than that, they're so long, they're so big. So I like that. I like that feature. Okay, next one, Nemanja Nedović. He used to play in the NBA in Minnesota Timberwolves several years ago. Now he moved to Crvena Zvezda in Serbia. So what you gonna do? Yeah, in Crvena Zvezda. Why not? He's 31. He's 6'3". He's the shortest guy on this list, so he might not be on the list because he's from Crvena Zvezda. Okay, next guy, Marko Gudurić. This is a guy that's expected to. He was shortly in the NBA in Memphis a couple of years ago. He's now a star in Fenerbahce in Turkey, one of top 5 European clubs right now. He's 27 and he's 6'6" guard. So also a pretty big one. And now we move to the forwards. And the forwards, as you can guess, are even bigger. First one, Ognjen Dobrić from Crvena Zvezda. Yeah, in Serbia. He's also 27. He is 6'7". He's like a 3-2 combo, like a wing more than a forward, but you get the idea. Next one, Dejan Davidovac in CSKA in Moscow right now. He was in Red Star Belgrade last year, unfortunately. Okay, so this guy is also 27. He's also 6'8", pretty big guy. He's the only, I would say, pure small forward on this team. Just one thing I want you guys to remember. look at these guys' names because there might be some kind of a pop quiz later on.
Oh my God! No, no, oh no!
Please.
I
Another
haven't
guy,
paid attention to a single one.
another guy you've heard of, Nikola Jovic from Miami Heat in the USA. He was in Mega Basket last year. He's 19. He's 6'10", and he really is more of a small forward than a power forward. But we'll see. We'll see what he will be in both Miami Heat, and if he can manage to be among 12 guys on the Eurobasket. I really hope he will.
Do you
because
think
he's
he'll
really
make the
talented.
team?
I'm not
He'll
sure.
make the team?
I'm not sure. I mean, back in the 80s, we always had like a couple of guys who were 18, 19, 20 years old on the team, just the token guys that are supposed to be the main guys in a couple of years. So they just get, cultivated on time. So I hope it will happen for Nikola Jovic this year because he's really talented. Next one, Nikola Kalinic. He was in Crvena Zvezda last year, and now he's going to Barcelona in España. He's 30 years old. He's 6'8". He's more of a combo forward, so like a small forward / power forward. Next one, Vladimir Lucic, who plays for Bayern Munich in Germany. He is 33 years old. He's a very experienced guy. He's 6'8". He's also a combo forward, small forward, power forward. Now,
Oh yeah, here he is. There
all
we
the
go.
guys, you see all the guys, I use the pictures from the Serbian national team.
Of course.
I just couldn't
You
not
have to.
use this. This is the greatest picture of all time.
All time.
So Alexei Pokuševski, who I have to tell you guys, I'm really high on Pokuševski's future. I really am.
I'm shocked. I'm
No,
stunned.
I really am. I wasn't as high as I am right now. I think if he just gains like a 20 pounds in the next 2 years, he can be a really good partner to Chet Holmgren. We'll see.
Asking Alexei Pokuševski to gain 20 pounds is like asking me to grow 6 inches. Just not happening. Just not happening.
We'll see. Come on.
I
Have
love
some
this.
faith.
7 foot and 20 pounds. Is that what that means?
No, it's 20 years. I think he's
Oh, okay.
he's
Oh.
above 180 pounds for sure.
Okay.
Probably.
Probably. Okay, one of the last forwards, Alen Smailagic. You know this guy from Golden State Warriors, the famous Smiley. He played for Partizan Belgrade last year. Great season for him. He is 21. He is 6'10". He is more of a big than a forward. He's like a power forward / center. But in European basket, in FIBA basketball, you can say that he's more of a power forward than a center because you get a couple of bigs on the team quite often in Europe still. Next one. Okay, Marko Jagurić-Kuriđa. He is 35. He's 6'9". He is also like a power forward center. I mean, he is 35. He looks like he's 47, but he's really good. He was really good for Serbia national team in these World Cup qualifying games that were really hard to play because all of the guys were missing, and he was delivering quite well. I don't think he will be on the team, but it's
Probably
good
not.
that
No.
it's good that he
It's
is
a long shot for sure.
he is on this list. Next one, Borisa Simanic, another guy I don't expect to be on the national team for the Eurobasket. He played in Mega Basket last year, but before that he was in Crvena Zvezda, so he's not really good. So yeah. He is 24. He is 6'11". Another long boy, more of a power forward than a small forward.
Okay.
Next one, Nemanja
yeah.
Bjelica, NBA champion Nemanja Bjelica.
Former NBA player.
Yep. Now in Fenerbahce, Turkey, and he is back on the place where he used to be the EuroLeague MVP. He was that back in the day when he was playing for Fenerbahce, and he is also more of a forward than a center in FIBA basketball. But I really hope he won't be playing next to Nikola Jokic because that would be too slow of a front court. I hope he will be actually Nikola Jokic's substitute, playing for 10-15 minutes, and that would be my preferred role for him. He's still a great player, and I want him on this team, of course. Next one, Filip Petrushev. You remember him from last year? He was
Of course.
a draft pick last year.
Okay.
He had a season in Efes in Turkey in the EuroLeague champion Efes. He had a pretty nice start of the season, but then he just fell out of rotation. Afterwards, the question mark here is because he probably won't be staying in the Efes after this year. He might come to Partizan Belgrade. We'll see.
Okay.
He is also Miško's guy, so we'll see where Miško will send him. And now we get to the centers, the best part of the team. First one, Nikola Milutinov. Look at this face. So this guy has been playing for the national team since he was like 18. He's super experienced at the age of only 27. He's a 7-footer. He is like a top 3 center in EuroLeague for like last almost 10 years. He's really good. He can also be, of course, the substitute of Nikola Jokic. I pray to gods he will not be playing next to Nikola Jokic.
Is this the guy, Miroslav, who pushed Jokic to power forward? And
no, that was the bearded guy, Radulovic or whatever.
Yeah, Radulica. Yeah. Well,
Radulica. That's right.
Yeah, they've been playing three centers on that tournament.
My bad.
Yeah, but honestly, Milutinov was already back then better than Radulica, but Radulica had a special feature of playing awesomely for the national team, and then he would just joke around while playing in China or in Japan or something like that. So yeah, Nikola Milutinov, a very, very solid center, and he will probably be in the last 12. Another guy, Dusan Ristic in Fuenlabrada in España. I don't think he will be making the final cut. He is also a 7-footer, age 26. Another guy, a chubby guy from
6'11". Get that out of here.
Man,
yeah,
I'm looking.
what?
I know
He always gets listed that way. Like I stand next to him. There's no way he's 7 feet, man.
He was never 7 feet. I was really surprised he was listed as a 7-footer because, back in Europe, he was like 208 centimeters, which is like 6'10", and then you add a couple of centimeters, 1 inch because of the shoes or something like that. I don't think he was ever a 7-footer, but I respect your opinion, even though I think it's wrong. Okay, so Nikola Jokic, he is playing for Denver Nuggets, and it's spelled wrongly here on purpose. And yeah, I think he should be a guy that the Serbian national team's play should revolve around, and we'll see if I'm right. And the last but not the least, Balša Koprivica from Partizan Belgrade in Serbia. He is a young guy. He's a token guy. I don't think he will make the final cut, but he is 7'1". He is 22, and he is the son of Partizan legend Slaviša Koprivica. So I wish all the best for him in the future.
I love it. Is this team? Oh, all right. Pop quiz. Quick pop quiz.
Okay.
Before we start the pop quiz, what did you want to ask?
Well, I was going to say, like, how do you think these guys all approach Jokic playing? Like, I know in your world he's not the best Serbian, but like, there is a little bit. I have to imagine there's
no.
bit of like.
No. Wait.
I'm just teasing you. I'm teasing you. You got to keep it moving. But there's got to be a little bit of like, it's Michael Jordan, coming to play on the team. Like he's significantly better than the second best player on this roster, like more so than say Team USA, even, who has some great players, but they have other great players too. Like, is there a weirdness now knowing that this is a team that actually has a singular best player?
Good thing about it is Coach Pešić is known to trust his guys and to lean on his best guys more than some other coaches from former Yugoslavia. For instance, back in 2002, he was leaning heavily on Peja Stojković and Vlade Divac. Funny story about that World Cup is that actually Vlade Divac didn't want to play for that tournament because he was already 35 and he was tired and everything. But then, like, Prime Minister of Serbia back then called Vlade and asked him, please, man, we need this gold more than ever. So he finally changed his mind. So he was playing like Sacramento Kings basketball back in 2002. So I really hope that Coach Pešić, even though he's now 20 years older than back then, he will also lean into Nikola Jokic as his best player. And I am optimistic. If you see the squad I just showed you, there were like three veterans on this team that you can call slow, and I don't think they match with Nikola Jokic basketball too well. But the other guys are in their prime. There is a lot of runners there, a lot of solid defenders for FIBA basketball level as well. So I am optimistic right now. I'm sad that Bogdan Bogdanovic is not playing, but what you gonna do? We don't have all the guys in any year, so this is as best.
Yeah, I mean,
as
Bogdan or at least Boban not playing is a little insight into Nikola Jokic doesn't have a lot of pull on the roster. That's my takeaway from it, at least.
Listen, I'm pretty sure Nikola would love to have Boban on the training camp just to make jokes, but it's not a good idea to have Boban next to Nikola if you want to win the goal.
Let's do a pop quiz.
Yeah, pop quiz. Okay. Name the player. I will show you the picture and you will tell me his name. Question number 1. Harrison, you start. Who is this guy?
That is Milos Teodosic.
Nice.
Very good.
Nailed it.
Very good. 2 points for Harrison. Adam, question number 2. Who is this guy?
Oh, that's Alexei Pokushevsky. Got it.
It's even written on the image. I'm so bad at this, man. I'm so bad. Okay, 2 points for Adam as well. Harrison, question number 3. Who is this guy?
Oh, it's easy.
That is Nemanja Bjelica.
Another easy
Nemanja
one.
Bjelica is correct. Okay, it might get a bit tougher from now on.
That's what I knew. So yeah.
Adam, question number 4.
Micic.
Who is this guy?
Ah, damn it. Let's
Okay.
see.
Oh, that's
I think
Adam,
it's
you can ask for help.
Sergey.
Do you want some help?
Yeah, a little help.
that's.
Let me give you-
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is
let's
that
do
is
it.
that Lucic?
What's his first name? Sorry, that's not
I don't
enough.
know. Does it matter?
Yeah,
No?
are you gonna put it in Cyrillic? Or are you gonna
Of course, this. Okay.
Is
So
it?
this is the help. Is he Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, Vladimir Lucic, Vladimir Tkachenko, or Vladimir Chuk?
Lucic, you got it.
Vladimir Lucic is correct. 1 point for you, Adam, because you've used the help. So it's 4-3 for Harrison. Question number 5, last round. Harrison, who is this guy? Do you want help?
I don't. Yeah, I need.
know that.
I need the multiple choice. Yeah, this is the
Okay.
4th string point guard who's probably maybe making the team.
That's pretty good.
Jimmy
Is
Chitwood.
he Ognjen Jaramaz, Vuk Drašković, Lech Valensa, or
I know this
Vojislav
one.
Medic?
I know this one.
I think this is Ognjen Jaramaz.
Very good. Very good, Harrison. Very good.
All right.
So that's 5-3. And now Adam has to answer without help to tie. Are you ready? Question number 6. Who is this guy? Let's just
Looks like
jump to
Goran
help.
Dragic.
Let's move to help.
That's hold
right?
on. That's Dayon. Dayon. I don't know.
Okay, here are the options.
Not even close.
Kalina Nikolic, Kalina Kovačević, Nikola Kalinic, Nikola Nikolic.
I think it's 3. Nikola Kalinic.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
think so too.
Very
Yeah.
good. And you've deserved a very honorable loss from Harrison. So 5-4. It was pretty close. And it was just a matter of who will start first. Next week,
Oh,
Next
what is
Oh
it?
God.
Oh, I can't wait. What is it?
Serbia's top 5 sea resorts.
I love that you call them sea resorts. Not even beach resorts, sea resorts. Perfect. I can't wait. Very excited for that
I
one.
gotta actually be off next Friday. Forgot to tell you guys.
Takes coughing out. Kale, take us to some super chats. Gordon Glasner says 69.99. Huge big timer. Random money to spend in Serbia. Have fun, fellas. Gordon.
Thank
You're
you, Gordon.
always
Appreciate it,
coming
man.
through. Always coming through for the Avs too, man. Gordon, he's spreads the love around, man. We appreciate that so much, man. Dylan Smith says for $10 says pray KD doesn't go to Golden State. How do we feel about Donovan Mitchell coming to us? First part, absolutely. Just pray he doesn't go there. Don't do it, KD. Don't be the lamest player that ever stepped foot in the NBA arena. Just don't ever do it. Nobody will ever respect you. Just don't do it. Donovan Mitchell coming to Denver. I don't really feel one way or another about it. Denver doesn't need him. He's not a great defender. What do you need the offense for? So it doesn't really make sense to me, other than it'd be dope, but I don't think it would be championship dope.
Yeah.
And what are you giving up for him? Jamal Murray? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think he makes Denver that much better of a team. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah. So there's that. That does it for today, guys. Tomorrow we are back with a post-game show. The Nuggets play at 4:00, so we'll be live around 5:30, 6 o'clock, right after the game, breaking it down. We need a palate cleanser from yesterday. Yesterday, it was kind of an uninspiring Nuggets Summer League game. I need an inspiring one heading into the weekend. So hopefully Peyton Watson, Christian Brown deliver. I know my guy Colin Gillespie is going to deliver. He always delivers, but we might need a little bit more Ismail Kamagate, one of those guys, to step up. Hit that like button on the way out, everybody. See you tomorrow.